Know what saved me from a breakdown during my first trainee showcase, Evelyn?
What was it, Chloe?
Comfort food. I remember my stress levels were off the charts. I could barely sleep, let alone eat. But then one night, I cooked myself just a simple bowl of samgyetang. My mom used to make it for me when I was having a tough day.
Oh, the ginseng soup with chicken, right?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? It just made me feel better. Strange, right? A mere bowl of soup calming a whirlwind of stress and emotions.
Not really, Chloe. It's amazing, the power comfort foods have. Sometimes they're not just about quenching hunger, but also stirring up a bit of nostalgia and positive emotions. It's like food therapy.
That's true. And that's why I find comfort foods so intriguing. They are emotional, intimate, and incredibly diverse, just like us. Evelyn, it's fascinating to think about how culture shapes our comfort foods.
Intriguing, isn't it? Like comfort food goes beyond feel-good cuisine, don't you think so?
Absolutely, it's deeply rooted in our heritage, and each region has its own unique comforts. Like in France, we love the cozy warmth of a croque-monsieur or a hearty bowl of French onion soup. You can taste tradition and history in every bite.
And those are mostly high-carb dishes, right? Is that common in French comfort foods?
Yes, a balance of carbohydrates is significant in keeping us warm and providing quick energy. It's a bit like a culinary hug.
And I bet in Korean comfort food, there's probably less reliance on carbs and more on hearty broths and fermented foods, like in samgyetang or kimchi jjigae.
Yes, these dishes speak to the Korean tradition of using food as preventative medicine. Something like samgyetang is not just comforting. In Korean lore, it meant to restore vitality during the hot summer months. So there is this family tradition and medicinal philosophy tied with Korean comfort food.
Amazing. So it's not just about warmth and nostalgia, but also about well-being and health?
That's right. That gives us a better perspective on why certain foods become comfort food. It's about stability and also connecting with our roots. Evelyn, ever noticed how the face of comfort food is changing, particularly in the backdrop of all these global la-di-das?
Oh, you're right, Chloe. With the world shrinking, it's inevitable that there would be a fusion of flavors in the culinary world.
Indeed, Evelyn. For example, in France, McDonald's serves Le Royale with cheese and camembert. Similarly, in Korea, you can find bulgogi burgers. It's clear that globalization has not just impacted our economies, but also our palates.
Great point, Chloe. Globalization has also brought a tremendous influx of immigrants moving to big cities, and they've naturally brought their traditional comfort foods with them.
That's so true. Just a few days ago, I tried this amazing banh mi from a Vietnamese food truck here in Seoul. It was a perfect blend of French bread and Vietnamese fillings.
See, there you go. These cultural fusions are redefining traditional comfort food. In urban cities, diversity in food options is the new norm. From Mexican tacos loaded with Korean barbecue to sushi burritos. New culinary trends are emerging that resonate with our evolving taste buds.
This really gets me thinking, how do we draw the line between tradition and innovation in comfort foods? I mean, are these innovative fusion foods still classified as comfort foods?
Now that's an intriguing question, Chloe. Well, personally, I believe comfort food is subjective. If a sushi roll with a Mexican twist gives someone solace similar to a traditional sushi roll, then why wouldn't it be a comfort food?
Well said, Evelyn. That makes a lot of sense. It's fascinating how the comfort food landscape is becoming more vibrant and inclusive, just like our societies.
Has anyone been binge-watching TV shows and indulging in comfort food all night during this pandemic?
Yes, it's fascinating, isn't it? The pandemic has redefined comfort in the comforts of our own homes.
Exactly. With nowhere to rush to and nothing to dress up for, home has become our sanctuary. Naturally, comfort foods bring solace in such isolated times.
With the night becoming a comforting, quiet time to indulge myself, I have noticed my craving for Korean dishes late at night, particularly ramyeon, a type of Korean noodle soup. What about you?
Ramyeon. For me, I've been going for Chinese dumplings, a fond childhood memory, and peppercorn martini, because indulgence.
Makes me wonder, Evelyn, why has there been a surge in late-night comfort food consumption?
This can be attributed to the disruption of our regular schedules. With the blurring boundaries between work and leisure, our eating habits have also taken a hit. The increased stress has helped foster the trend of late-night comfort food indulgence as a way to find peace, especially after a tiring day.
And anxiety must play a role, right?
Absolutely, Chloe. The cravings are often linked to the rise in the levels of the hormone cortisol in our bodies. It is our body's way of responding to stress or anxiety. Comfort foods, especially those rich in carbohydrates, help reduce anxiety and induce a feeling of comfort. It's no wonder we reach out for a bowl of mac and cheese or ramyeon during stressful times.
Interesting. It is like our bodies have a built-in mechanism to cope with difficult times.
Indeed, they do, Chloe. Yet it's also crucial to find that delicate balance between indulgence and health in these twisted times.
True, Evelyn. Could you enlighten us about some light cocktails that can help create a comforting yet balanced late-night experience?
I'd love to, Chloe. Let's delve into that in the next segment.
Comfort food for me isn't restricted to a specific cuisine. In fact, it crosses borders, reflecting my multicultural upbringing.
Let's hear then, Chloe. What are your comfort foods?
Well, being Korean French, it's a mix of both cultures, like quiche Lorraine, a savory French pie filled with cheese, meat, and a custard. It reminds me of winter in Lyon, warm, cozy, and so very comforting.
Oh, how I love quiche Lorraine. And the Korean favorite?
Evelyn, that's a tough one. There are so many. But I'd say samgyetang, a warming chicken soup with ginseng, dates, and rice. It's a nurturing bowl of mother's love and touches my soul like none other.
Samgyetang sounds like the perfect antidote to homesickness. On my end, I'm a simple person with simple tastes. Nothing screams comfort more than a big bowl of silky Chinese hot pot, a communal symbol of family and togetherness, and a glass of spiced rum on the side. It's like cuddling up in a warm blanket on a cold night.
For those like me who aren't knowledgeable about cocktails, why spiced rum?
Spiced rum has a unique blend of warming spices that pairs well with the complex flavors of the hot pot. Its sweet undercurrent complements the tangy broth, creating a soothing balance. Plus, the drink's warmth simply wraps you in this cocoon of comfort, fending off the chills. And isn't that what late-night comforts are all about?
Certainly, Evelyn. It's a fascinating blend of emotions, cultures, flavors, and memories expressed through food and drink.
Tonight, we're diving into the art of crafting comfy cocktails. Now, Chloe, I know cocktails are quite the uncharted territory for you.
Absolutely. Hand me a baguette, I can whip up a mean sandwich, but cocktails? I'm afraid I'm an amateur.
That's fine. We're all learning together here. Now picture this. When you're creating cocktails, think of it as creating a melody on your palates. You've got your base notes, the spirit, the heart of the cocktail, followed by your harmonizing notes, which can be sweeteners or citrus to balance it out.
Oh, a bit like harmonizing vocals in a song then.
Exactly, except the harmony here is all about the balance of flavors. Let's take the cocktail I mentioned earlier, spiced rum. The rum itself is the base. Then you've got your sweetener, simple syrup. The citrus comes from lime. It balances the sweetness. Lastly, you add Angostura bitters. It's the punctuation that ties it all together, creating a well-balanced blend of flavors.
Seems intricate, yet it sounds so simple when you break it down like that.
That's the magic of cocktails. But remember, no one size fits all. Everyone has diverse taste preferences. The key is to experiment and find what whispers home to your taste buds. Now let's up the ante a bit. How about we add fruits, herbs, even spices in the mix? I promise you, with a little bit of experimenting, your kitchen will easily turn into a bespoke cocktail bar.
Sounds like a recipe for some fun. What does one look for when combining these elements?
The goal is to adapt and transform the flavor pairings. While some combinations may sound unusual, the trick is to remember basic taste categories: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. Play around safely within these, and you're less likely to land up with a drink that's less cocktail, more chemistry experiment gone wrong.
Certainly don't want that disaster. Thank you for the simplified guide, Evelyn. I'm sure our listeners are shaking and stirring already.
Chloe, shall we journey through time and teleport to the birthplaces of some of our favorite cocktails?
I've got my passport ready. Lead the way, Evelyn.
All right, first stop, 1860s England, the origin of our beloved martini. It started quite hazy, with many claiming its creation. But the dry martini we know today, where gin met dry vermouth, was truly sparked into existence in the early 20th century. It's not just a drink, it's an ageless classic.
Wow, from England, let's fly over to America.
Yes, Chloe. Straight to 1806, where the term cocktail first appeared in print in a New York publication. The old-fashioned, a true American classic, simple yet speaks volumes. Just a mix of sugar, water, bitters, and whiskey. Surely more than 200 years old, yet looks like it hasn't aged a day.
These monumental drinks, they're not just mixtures but symbols, stirring stories of their times.
Beautifully observed, Chloe. Now let's land back to our home kitchen. Remember how I mentioned the importance of the right ingredients? Well, equally crucial is how you present and serve them.
Like our clothes, even cocktails need dressing,
Exactly. Vox populi, people drink with their eyes first. A martini calls for a sleek martini glass, while the old-fashioned, a short stout tumbler. The right kind of glass, it's an extension of the cocktail's character.
What about temperature and water dilution?
Major components in crafting the perfect cocktail. For example, martinis are stirred with ice till chilled and then strained. It's to achieve the right dilution and temperature. Without it, you just have cold gin and vermouth sharing a glass uncomfortably. Everything ties together for that perfect harmony we strive for. No aspect is too small or insignificant.
Touring cocktail history was thrilling, Evelyn. Not to mention the little tricks you shared, making the art of cocktail crafting even more enchanting.
Now, Chloe, navigating the maze of perfect food and cocktail pairing is not unlike creating a great dance routine. You want the movements, in this case, the food and cocktail flavors, to harmonize, right?
Absolutely, Evelyn. It's all about finding that beautiful synergy.
Think of flavor profiles as dance partners. Say, a spicy kimchi jjigae meets a cooling cucumber gin cocktail. The cocktail's fresh, crisp taste is an excellent counterpoint to the stew's fiery tones. Likewise, the bubbly effervescence of champagne can lighten up a dense, creamy croque monsieur.
Oh, so it's about balancing out the contrasts.
Indeed, my dear. Ingenuity comes into play when you go beyond the obvious, like pairing a hot, brothy samgyetang with a chilled soju margarita. The salty, sweet drink can cut through the soup's richness.
I see. It makes so much sense now. What about textures and temperatures, Evelyn? Do they play a part too?
Great question, Chloe. As much as taste, texture, and temperature are crucial factors too. Think slow-cooked, tender French onion soup paired with a crisp, icy martini. The cool, smooth liquor contrasts perfectly with the warm, robust soup, creating a multi-dimensional experience.
That sounds incredibly tempting. And I can imagine that the right pairing would only elevate the comfort food experience.
Correct, Chloe. Carefully paired food and cocktail can indeed amplify the pleasure manifold, bringing a new dimension to the comfort dining experience. Just remember that the core idea behind pairing is to enhance, not overpower.
So it's all about creating a harmonious dance of flavors on the palate. Thanks for unraveling this world to me, Evelyn. I can't wait to explore these pairings more. Evelyn, are you a staunch follower of traditional food and cocktail pairing?
Well, Chloe, my first inclination is always toward creativity and uniqueness, like my spicy food and old-fashioned pairing earlier.
And that's an excellent mindset. It brings about innovation in the culinary world. However, don't you think traditional pairings are there for a reason? Like wine and cheese in France? Their flavors complement each other so perfectly. It's like they are meant to be together.
That's true, Chloe. But remember, what's traditional today was once a novelty. Bartending and cooking, for me, are about breaking boundaries, surprising the palate. That's what makes them exciting.
So, being adventurous might lead us to our next favorite pairing.
Absolutely, Chloe. And speaking of which, have you ever contemplated pairing dessert with cocktails?
Sounds unusual but intriguing. Guide us through it, Evelyn.
Well, consider a rich, gooey chocolate lava cake. It's served hot, possesses intense flavors. Pair it with a chilled, lightly sweetened coffee cocktail, and boom, you have a match made in heaven. The slight bitterness of coffee, the sweetness of the cocktail, and the creaminess of the chocolate all come together in a dance of flavors.
Wait, so desserts and cocktails, they work mainly on contrast, is that right?
Indeed, Chloe. Desserts are generally rich and heavy, so they need a light, refreshing cocktail as a partner. It's all about creating a balance on the taste buds.
So the dance continues, Evelyn. The dance of flavors, the harmonious dance on our palate.
Yes, Chloe, the dance continues indeed.
All right, we've talked about comfort foods and their pairings with cocktails. Now let me share two of my favorite comfort food recipes, one each from France and Korea. Have you ever tried croque monsieur, Evelyn?
I can't say I have, Chloe, but I've heard great things. What's in a croque monsieur?
Croque monsieur is a classic French sandwich that's more than just your everyday ham and cheese. Do you remember the bechamel sauce I mentioned in our previous episodes? That, combined with good quality ham and cheese, encased between two slices of buttery brioche, makes it a true French comfort food. It presents a perfect blend of crunch, creaminess, and savory goodness. The warm, melted cheese provides a comforting texture, and the richness of the bechamel sauce brings a luscious quality to this sandwich.
That sounds delicious and quite comforting. In terms of preparation, is it complex?
The beauty of comfort food lies not just in its taste, but also its simplicity. Prepare your sandwich, slather on a generous amount of homemade bechamel, add your ham, and top with Gruyere. Bake it until the cheese is bubbly and golden. And there you have it, a simple yet comforting sandwich that wraps you in warmth and nostalgia with each bite.
French comfort food surely sounds like a warm hug. Now, what about the Korean dish?
For the Korean dish, let's make samgyetang. It's a traditional chicken soup with ginseng, often enjoyed during the summer to replenish lost nutrients. A whole young chicken is stuffed with sticky rice, ginseng, garlic, and jujube. The dish is then simmered until the chicken is tender and the flavors are well infused. It's a wholesome, nutritious dish that provides great comfort.
So we've got crispy, creamy croque monsieur and comforting, nutritious samgyetang. They both sound phenomenal, and I'm sure our listeners can't wait to try them out. Tell us more about these dishes, Chloé.
Absolutely, Evelyn. Both these dishes have their unique charm and they provide comfort in their own ways. Whether it's the cheese-laden sandwich toasting perfectly to golden brown, transporting you to a quaint French cafe, or the healing properties of samgyetang, boosting your energy during the scorching summer, food has a magical way of comforting us. While we adore our delectable croque monsieur and creamy samgyetang, I understand the need to adapt to dietary preferences and explore vegan or vegetarian alternatives.
Absolutely. Who says comfort food can't be health conscious?
Right? Let's begin with our croque monsieur. Instead of ham, you could use grilled veggies, like aubergine, zucchini, or bell peppers. You can replace cheese with nutritional yeast flakes that provide a cheesy flavor, threading the fine line between rich comfort food and a lighter, plant-based rendition.
That sounds just as tempting. How about a vegan option for samgyetang?
A good substitute for chicken could be jackfruit. It mirrors the texture of meat really well, and when simmered with sticky rice, ginseng, and garlic, it could bring a soothing, warmth-filled experience that samgyetang offers. You'd forget you're eating a vegan dish.
Gosh, jackfruit as a chicken substitute? Innovative exercise of culinary creativity indeed. Is the prep process similar?
Indeed. You follow the same process, replace the chicken with boiled and shredded jackfruit and voila, a vegan samgyetang. Catering to evolving dietary preferences doesn't necessarily mean compromising on the soul of these dishes. It might just require a little creativity and some experimenting in the kitchen.
Agreed. It's all about embracing diversity in our plates, isn't it? Even for cocktails, we can consider healthier options, say swapping refined sugar with honey or using freshly squeezed juice instead of concentrates, still guaranteeing to complement your comfort meal.
I see here, Alice from Montreal asks, what's an easy cocktail that pairs well with croque monsieur? Over to you, Evelyn, for that expert advice.
Happy to take that one, Chloé. A classic pairing for the indulgent croque monsieur would be a crisp, fruity white wine like a Sauvignon Blanc. But if we're looking at cocktails and not traditional wine, I'd suggest a classic Bloody Mary. The acidity and spice from the drink will cut through the richness of the dish perfectly, complementing the cheese and ham. Simple to prepare too, just vodka, tomato juice, some lemon, Worcestershire sauce, and a kick of hot sauce to your liking.
A Bloody Mary, huh? Interesting. Moving on, Sarah from Seoul wants to know, any suggestions for a comforting yet low on sugar cocktail?
Great question, Sarah. One of my personal favorites is the cucumber mint fizz. It's light, refreshing, and not too sweet. Mix gin, fresh cucumber juice, sparkling water, and a sprig of mint. To sweeten, you can very lightly drizzle in some honey or not, depending on your preference. This concoction is a crowd pleaser.
That sounds so refreshing, Evelyn. A real palate cleanser, too. Now, Ian from Sevilla asks us, can you suggest a vegetarian alternative for bouillabaisse and a cocktail to go with it?
Creative question, Ian. Your suggestion, Chloé?
For a vegetarian substitute, you could replace the traditional fish and shellfish with hearty root vegetables like turnip, parsnip, and fennel. They absorb flavors really well and give that comforting, hearty feel of bouillabaisse.
As for a cocktail, I'd recommend a Provençal herb sazerac. It mirrors the herbaceous undertone of bouillabaisse, and the citrus note will brighten the hearty root vegetables. It's rye whiskey, herbs de Provence simple syrup, absinthe rinse, and a twist of lemon. Perfect.
That was some great insight into vegetarian alternatives and cocktail pairings, Evelyn. Now, we've heard from a few of you, and I must say, we're genuinely moved by how creative and personal your comfort food stories and recipes have been.
I have to confess, I am bursting with excitement to try some of these cocktails you've suggested. But we believe many more incredible stories are still out there. It's amazing how everyone has a unique attachment to their comfort food. Don't you think, Chloe?
Absolutely, Evelyn. Each of our comfort food stories is a tasty slice of our lives, isn't it? I remember how my mother's kimchi jjigae literally brought tears to my eyes when I was feeling homesick in Seoul. Oh, how I would love to hear about the foods that comforted you all throughout the pandemic.
Yes. Teaming up those stories with your personal recipes and unique cocktail pairings would be fascinating.
Absolutely, listeners. Let's hear your voices, learn about your comfort dishes, and of course, let's not forget those must-try pairings with Evelyn's cocktails. Share it all. We're all ears. Or should I say taste buds?
Haha, taste buds indeed, Chloe. And guess what, folks? We've got something even more exciting lined up. How about a fun contest?
Oh, Evelyn, that's going to be a blast. So, listeners, it's time to flex those mixology muscles of yours. Whip up your best and most comforting cocktail recipes and share them with us.
The best entry will be featured on our upcoming segment, providing you with an opportunity to share your recipe and story on air. But remember, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fancy creation. Sometimes the simplest cocktails can bring the most comfort.
Do you remember the first time you tried to make your favorite childhood dish, Evelyn?
Oh, I get what you mean, Chloe. It was a disaster. But speaking of first times, we have something special planned for our next episode, right?
Yes, we do, Evelyn. We're diving headfirst into the journey of our first culinary steps. Kitchen Beginnings is our theme, highlighting moments where we really fell in love with the process of creating culinary magic.
And we would like to know from you lovely people as well about your own kitchen beginnings. Maybe you remember the first time you baked a cake, tried making pasta from scratch, or invent the first cocktail you ever mixed. We want to hear your stories, your recipes, and your kitchen disasters.
Totally. And for our cocktail enthusiasts, Evelyn will share some beginner-friendly recipes in the next episode. I'm sure it will be far more successful than my first melon ball mix.
Oh, don't remind me, Chloe. But yes, folks, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Also, if there are any specific topics or questions you want us to cover in our future episodes, feel free to let us know.
Indeed, we are here to bring the global culinary world closer to you. We hope you're as excited about our future episodes as we are. So until next time, keep savoring our shared love for food and music.
And don't forget to keep it spicy. See you next episode.
Evelyn, after discussing all these comforting dishes and soothing cocktails, it seems clear that food truly plays a powerful role during isolating times, doesn't it?
No doubt, Chloe. And as lockdowns continue, the sheer joy of shared meals with family or virtual catch-ups with friends, paired with comfort food and maybe a cocktail, is a source of solace.
Definitely. And such moments highlight the importance of food as more than just a way to satisfy one's hunger. It's often the tie that bonds us, a source of warmth in the middle of chilly winter nights. The way our French onion soup can make you feel at home or how samgyetang, hot and hearty, brings to mind cherished moments in Korea.
Yes, and let's not forget the magic of a well-crafted cocktail. Maybe you're curling up with a blankie, savoring my old-fashioned recipe that we discussed today, or clinking virtual cocktail glasses in your next Zoom party with friends. But tell me, Chloe, any final wishes for our listeners?
Well, as we embrace the new normal of in-home dining and drinking, my wish for everyone is warmer, sunnier days ahead, and of course, a table loaded with comforting meals. In the meantime, let's continue to delve deeper into the world of culinary delights together, while exploring food as a way to connect, nourish, and comfort.
Certainly, comfort food and cocktails, old or new, take on a whole other layer of significance as symbols of care. So my wish is that each meal you prepare, each cocktail you stir, brings you closer to your loved ones and keeps the chill at bay, till the warmth of spring graces our lives again.